You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken Tech for your ears.
Welcome back. We're here to sift through the sources you send us, pull out the key takeaways, and really give you that inside track. Today, we've got a pile of interesting developments in the digital asset world. Everything from big court cases, new ways for fans to connect, even a challenge to the payment giants.
Yeah, our job really is to connect those dots for you.
Yeah.
To figure out the so what behind these headlines. How do all these separate pieces actually fit together in this fast-moving digital economy picture? It's about seeing the whole landscape.
Okay, great. Let's start with something pretty major on the legal side. The Tornado Cash lawsuit. Looks like the U.S. Appeals Court just granted a motion to vacate it.
Right. This follows the government actually removing the sanctions back in March.
And Coin Center is basically saying, case closed. They argue the government just didn't want to defend its pretty wide definition of sanctions law in court.
Exactly. And the real takeaway here isn't just about Tornado Cash itself. It's bigger. It sets a potentially huge precedent for how sanctions might or might not apply to code to decentralized protocols, rather than just people or companies.
So it forces a question about what constitutes a person under these laws when you're dealing with autonomous code.
Precisely. It's a really critical point for DeFi's future, thinking about autonomy, privacy, all those legal gray areas.
Okay, so if that's one piece of maybe accidental clarity emerging, what about proactive efforts? I see notes here on Stand with Crypto.
Yeah, backed by Coinbase, a whole bunch of organizations, over 65 now, I think.
And they're pushing for the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act in the U.S. House.
That's the one. The goal is pretty clear. Define who does what between the SEC and CFTC, require disclosures, basically give the industry the rule book they've been asking for. But, there's political pushback, and they're up against the September deadline. It's tight.
And that clarity is just fundamental for growth, right? Otherwise, things just stall.
Absolutely crucial. You need clear rules for serious investment and innovation to really take root and, grow reliably.
So while the regulatory gears are grinding maybe slowly, we're seeing big players not really waiting around. Look at Robinhood.
Yeah.
That's unexpected.
Yeah, their tokenization push is fascinating. They've launched this Robinhood chain. It's EVM compatible, built on Arbitrum Orbit tech.
And it has a token engine. What does that actually do?
So it lets them create on-chain versions, like digital wrappers, for real-world stocks that Robinhood holds off-chain.
Ah, okay. So you can trade these stock tokens in the app, or even take them off Robinhood.
That's the plan. Trade in-app, self-custody, transfer them on-chain. They're aiming for 247 trading eventually, leveraging that Bitstamp acquisition they made.
And Robinhood controls the whole stack, the chain, the assets.
Pretty much. They run the sequencer. They hold the underlying assets, so they capture the fees. They're trying to monetize the whole tokenization infrastructure themselves.
It's a big bet that tokenization isn't just for crypto, but for, everything.
Exactly. It could really change how we trade traditional stuff. Make it global, instant, always on.
But there are hurdles, right? Regulatory ones, SEC approval, SIFMA objections.
Oh, definitely. Huge question marks remain. SEC hasn't blessed this, and the big financial trade groups are skeptical, to say the least. It's still early days on that front.
Interesting. And it's not just stocks. We're seeing new ideas around basic banking, too, like these stablecoin banks.
Yeah, the concept is you deposit stablecoins, and the bank automatically sweeps them into something like T-bills, so you earn yield. But you interact with it like a normal bank account, just using stablecoins.
But how does that square with, traditional banking, fractional reserves, or stablecoins that aren't fully backed?
That's the core tension. Could it destabilize existing banks? One idea floating around is maybe federally chartered banks could issue their own stablecoins, possibly using a fractional reserve model, bridging the old and new. Still very theoretical, though.
And this tech is even popping up in places like sports, the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, Pistons Rewards. It's a fan loyalty program running on the Avalanche blockchain.
How does that work for fans?
Pretty straightforward, actually. Link a card, upload receipts from partners, predict game outcomes, refer friends. You earn points you can redeem. It just shows blockchain is useful for more than just finance, like really engaging loyalty programs.
Okay, now here's a piece that feels potentially huge. Stablecoins as a threat to Visa. How serious is that?
I think it's structurally very serious. Think about Visa's business. A lot of profit comes from cross-border fees, like that extra 1.5% they charge just for transactions within Europe sometime.
Right, those fees add up.
Exactly. But stablecoins, they don't care about borders.
Yep.
Sending USDC from the US to France is the same as sending it next door. No cross-border movement in the traditional sense.
So it just bypasses that entire fee structure.
Completely.
Yeah.
It hits right at the heart of the legacy payment networks. Visa, MasterCard, even PayPal to an extent, whose juicy margins really depend on that cross-border friction.
But Visa's network is enormous. The trust is there. They won't just roll over, surely.
No, absolutely not. Their network effect is incredibly powerful. But the point is that stablecoins enable a different way entirely. If this new, cheaper, borderless infrastructure gains traction, well, Visa might need to adapt faster than they think. Maybe integrating stablecoins deeply, not just fighting them, or relying on old fee models.
And quickly, on the pure innovation side, there's this ETH strategy thing.
Yeah, interesting concept. It's like an automated on-chain version of MicroStrategy's Bitcoin playbook, but for Ether.
So you deposit stablecoins?
And you get back Strat, which is basically a leveraged bet on ETH's price, but designed without the usual liquidation risk. Uses bonds and options, all managed autonomously by the protocol. It really shows how complex financial strategies, usually just for big institutions, can be built transparently on-chain, potentially open to anyone.
Wow. Okay, so wrapping this up for everyone listening, we've covered a lot. Legal shifts starting to bring some, maybe reluctant, clarity. Traditional finance like Robinhood jumping in, while stablecoins challenge the payment giants like Visa. Plus, new ways to engage customers, like with the Pistons.
It paints a picture of an ecosystem that's maturing, right? Becoming more integrated, but also more disruptive, which really brings up a key question for you to think about. As these digital tools get better and more widespread, what other big established industries do you think are next on the chopping block for this kind of fundamental change?
That's the perfect thought to leave things on. Keep exploring that. Thanks for joining us for this session.
Spoken Tech for your ears.